see who accepts it.
It's always fun waiting.
Twitch has accepted the
Here
stream.
we got Twitch. Come on, YouTube.
Well, YouTube hasn't accepted it.
Not yet. It'll-
Oh, there they go. Wow, that took them a long time. Let's see how long it takes Facebook.
So what I'm seeing here is anybody who comments, their comments are going to show up on the bottom of the screen, and I'll read them out, and then we can comment to them, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we can respond.
Yeah. And I'm probably going to get Deadpool, knowing my luck.
Deadpool?
Yeah, I've got a guy who cosplays as Deadpool. He'll probably, if I tag him or I share with him, he'll probably make comments.
Okay, how's your screen look there, Mick?
Looks good.
See the timer, your logo, everything?
Yep. And comments will be under the phone number?
Correct. Okay, shall we start?
Yes.
When you see the timer say on the air, you're on the air.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mick's World with my special guest, Jeff Steinberg. How are you doing, Jeff?
Oh, I'm doing well. Mick, how are you doing?
I'm good.
If
So,
I was doing any better, I'd be you or we'd be twins.
hey, you want to be me sometimes.
Oh, everybody wants to be me.
So, holy crap. Is
That's
this
a great
correct?
way to start. What?
Richard, is this correct that I have 134 viewers? I don't know. Holy. No. Oh, Deadpool's there. Don't let your head explode. Thought you'd beat your. Hi, Deadpool. Welcome to dropping in. I didn't even have to message you. So, Jeff, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was, I started out as a child. I was born with what the doctors call phocomycelia. I was born with no arms, malformed legs. I was a thalidomide baby, and I was, my mom was having difficulty with the pregnancy, and the doctors gave her thalidomide to help her, and nobody knew back in 1950-51 that thalidomide would cause severe birth defects. And so my mom, took the drug, and I was born with multiple congenital birth defects. She didn't know about my disability till I was 17 months old, because my dad had been told that they weren't sure if I was going to live. And to be honest, he was trying to protect her. And what I have learned over my 72 years of life is that you're not really protecting somebody by shielding them from the truth. And so she didn't know about my disability until I was 17 months old. And she didn't see me for the first time until I was almost 2 years old in a children's welfare shelter in Philadelphia. And well, at that point, my grandmother had told her that I was still alive. And my mom and dad had this very intense discussion about the whole thing. I spent 5.5 years in and out of Shriners Hospital for crippled children in Philadelphia, and received a lot of my surgeries. I was fitted for my first artificial arm at the age of 4. They operated on my legs to straighten them, discovered there was no joint in my right knee. They broke the bones. They fused my leg back together, stiff, cleaned away valuable growth tissue, and I'll always be 4 feet 6 inches tall. Michael Jordan, eat your heart out. I learned to do all kinds of things with my feet. I used my feet to feed myself, to write, all kinds of things like that. And what I discovered over the years is that what you look like is over the years that it's less of a lesser consequence, that what you look like isn't as important as the person that he designed, that God designed for you to be. And he designed for you and me to be fearfully and wonderfully made, a masterpiece in progress. And that's been my message. For 51 years, I have taken this message across the globe. I've sung, I've shared, I've challenged in churches, conventions, awards dinners, banquets, fundraisers, all kinds of things. School assemblies in prisons, sometimes they're the same thing. And I've encouraged people to realize the masterpiece that God designed for each of us to be.
Now I'm gonna ask this question because I've attended a couple of your concerts in Olean. Is it true that the military tried to draft you?
Oh yeah. When I was 18, I got that letter that every kid at 18 back then got. You know, dear Mr. Steinberg, greetings from the President of the United States of America. You are hereby ordered to report to your local draft board. So I did. I walked into the draft board. I walked up to the lady at the front desk who looked over her glasses at me, you know, the kind they never look through them. They just kind of have them sitting there on the end of their nose while their nose hangs on their face for the rest of their lives. And I put the letter on her desk and I said, here I am, sign me up. And she looked at the letter and she looked at me and she looked at the letter and she looked at me and she said, sign you up for what? I said, I'm here to win the war. Can you see me in khaki green marching to the beat of a drum? Why I'd salute I'd salute and give myself a concussion. So she said, sit down. So I did. And she started asking me the dumbest questions. Well, you decide. It's on the letter. Dear Mr. Me. Age or address. And how do you think I got that letter? Age? Well, let's see. You only get the letter if you're 18.
Old enough to know better, but not crazy enough to get to want to sign up.
Yeah, there you go. Guess. Social Security number? I told her I was socially insecure. Bingo. Quoted from the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. I said 4F. Physically / medically unfit for military service. And she stopped what she was doing. She turned and she looked over her glasses at me. And Mick, if looks could kill, somebody else would be here today. And she said to me, doctor's statement to verify that you are unfit for military service? I said, no. Do I need one? And she stood up. And I don't think she thought I heard what she said, but I did. She said, oh, dear, I'm going to have to get the supervisor for this one. And I said, go ahead, because I'm going to be this way when she gets here, too. And I was. And I've been this way ever since. That's my draft board story.
So, like I said, I've heard a couple of your concerts, and one of the songs that really was really good for me and for hearing was Masterpiece in Progress.
Mm-hmm.
When did you decide to create that one?
We were in, it was 1980. No, it was 79, 80, thereabouts. 81. We were in California, and I was speaking to a large church in Sherman Oaks, California. I had been doing a week-long revival at this Baptist church, and the theme of the event was the best you can be, learning and living God's unique design. And I looked at the audience at one point and I said to the audience, each of us is a masterpiece, becoming one color at a time, all that God had designed for us to be. Sometimes the colors blend, and when they do that, they blend into this beautiful new color or different color. And sometimes the colors stand in harsh contrast up against each other. And you don't always get to see the whole picture unless you step back and take a wider view where you can see everything. Well, we were there for a whole week, and Jeff Rudloff, the gentleman who was my then keyboard player, singing partner, travel companion, whatever you want to call it, he's been my best friend for probably a good 55 years, almost, somewhere around there, 55 to 60 years. And Jeff called me the following Monday after we flew home. We flew home, and he called me that night, and he said, I've just written the title song for your next album. Well, it's never been Jeff's habit or tradition to let me in on anything before he has it finished or ready, And I said, kind of tongue in cheek, I said, oh. He said, yeah. He said, you want to hear what it's called? I said, yeah. He said, it's called Masterpiece in Progress. He said, I need to use your piano. Can I come over tomorrow? I said, sure. I had a 6'3" Baldwin concert grand piano in my living room at the time with a solid cedar sounding board. It was probably the best sounding piano I'd ever heard. And I was fortunate enough to have that. So he said, you want to hear the lyrics? I said, yeah, if you want to tell me. So he said, when an artist starts painting on a blank piece of canvas, it doesn't always look very good. You're wondering what it's going to be like when it's done, if it's ever going to look like it should. When the colors start blending and the shapes begin forming, you begin to see the master design. When the last stroke is painted and the brush is laid down, it's exactly what he had in mind. I'm a masterpiece in progress. He is still working on me. I'm a masterpiece in progress. I'm becoming all he wants me to be. I'm a masterpiece in progress, and it won't be too long till I'm done. A few more strokes of the brush, and the master is touched, and I'll be in the image of the sun. Well, I fell in love with the lyrics, and I told him when he started to play it for me, at the piano the next night, I said, what I hear is I hear a melody, a piano playing a melody line with a single string, single, violin line. And as the song progresses, it builds with more and more instruments until you have this big orchestral blowout at the end. And he said, that's really kind of up to Don Hart because Don was our arranger. So when I called Don and I told him the lyrics and I told him what I had in mind, we went into the studio to do the album in 1982, 82, late 82, and we released the album in 1983. And Masterpiece in Progress has become my signature song since then. And in the beginning, it was the song I opened with. And then as the years progressed and 9/11 hit, I felt like the Lord was telling me to open with a patriotic song that Jeff wrote in 1989 for me. And so Masterpiece in Progress has become my big finale number leading into any kind of encores and that sort of thing. But if you look on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel is T Giant. That's TGIANT and the number 1. E Giant 1 is my YouTube channel. And I produced and edited a video for Masterpiece in Progress that you can watch. And it has pictures of me growing up. It has pictures of me driving a car, video footage. It has video footage, all kinds of video footage of my family, that sort of thing. And then I also did one of This Land, which is the patriotic song that Jeff wrote for me. I did a video for that one as well. But that's how Masterpiece in Progress came about.
So
Are you?
I was gonna ask something. My brain just decided to take a break for a second. So I know you've battled through a bunch of stuff. Where have you traveled on your tours?
Well, I've been all over the continental United States. I've been to every state. I've been to Hawaii. And the only state in the United States that I have not been to is Alaska. That's still on my bucket list to go to. I've also been to Central America, specifically Costa Rica. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Europe, Germany, France. I've been to all over the UK. England, Scotland, Belfast, Northern Ireland, South Wales. So I've been to quite a few places. Probably one of the most challenging ones was Costa Rica. I went over there to be a part of and encourage a disability ministry called Más que un amigo, which means more than a friend in Spanish. And by the way, mi español es muy malísimo. My Spanish is horrible. I know just enough to barely get me into trouble and not even enough to get out of it. So, but we had an interpreter. And the interesting story about that interpreter was he was a Jewish gentleman. And he was not a believer, but his wife was. And she asked me to talk to him. And he ran a a language institute for missionaries and for diplomat kids, where he taught them how to speak Spanish and how to, speak English if they were Spanish. And so his wife came to me in the very beginning and said, "Can you talk to my husband and ask him if he would be your interpreter?" And she told me the story that he was not a believer. And there are a lot of people who probably would say, "Well, I wouldn't have done it because you're putting someone like that in a position of leadership." But here's how it all went down. I went to him and I said, "Julio," I said, "Would you be my interpreter?" And he said, "I don't believe what you believe." And I looked at him, and of course he was Jewish, and I come from a Jewish background. So I looked at him and I said, "Can you tell the audience what I'm telling you?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Then you can be my interpreter." And he wasn't real fond of the idea, but his wife kind of talked him into accepting. And so the entire week, this Jewish non-believer preached the gospel. And I thought it was hilarious because I tell this story, or I told this story back then about a 5-year-old that came to me once, and he pointed to my hook and he said, "What's that?" And all of a sudden, somewhere about 2 or 3 days in, Julio starts doing the voices. "Serious, asshole!" And "What you got that for?" Et cetera. And he started doing the voices, and people started to laugh, and they loved it because now they were laughing at me, but they were also understanding what I was saying because he was making it more, fun, because he was putting himself into it. By the end of the week, Julio came to me and said, "You are welcome to come and stay at my home anytime. And anytime you are in Costa Rica and you need an interpreter, you call me." Now, you don't get that by being exclusive and by saying, "Oh, well, he's not a believer. We can't have him on our platform." Because we don't know what kind of influence that encouragement for him might have in terms of whether or not he would become a believer. And so, I left it with him. When I left at the end of the week, I didn't try to convert him. I didn't try to pressure him. I just wanted him to know that I cared and that I was his friend and that I was honored that he would be my interpreter for the week, and now he would be my friend. And that was pretty cool.
So the way this story goes, because I listened to a little bit of it earlier, the way this story goes is that you told that kid that you bit your fingernails a little too far, correct?
Well, he said he wanted to know why I didn't have any hands. And I told him I used to bite my fingernails, and one day I went too far. And he's in trauma therapy now. But he's got great looking nails, long ones. That's the way the rest of that story went.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a great story. I had a guy who was an Uber rider on Halloween Day a number of years ago, and he opened the front door, and of course he was dressed like Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars. And so he opened the front door and he looked over and he saw my hook on the wheel, and he looked at my hook and he looked at me and he said, "Nice costume." And you think I'm handicapped. And I'm like, "Yeah, I went to all this trouble just for Halloween." People are crazy. I mean, I get new kinds of stuff all the time in people's reactions. Now, you heard me in Olean, right?
Yes, I did. I heard you in Duggan Doug and Maggie's church.
Yeah. Harvest.
Yeah.
What is it?
I'm not exactly sure what it was. I don't remember names very well.
Harvest Outreach or something like that.
Yeah, I heard actually
In Olean.
I heard you twice. I heard you once at both times it was actually at, where was it? It was at a different venue than the church. The actual church.
Yeah. Well, that was back before when we first started. We met you, or you heard us. We were at a school, I believe, or at an auditorium, because that's when I met Pastor J.P. Price. Back then, it was right in between, probably in between when Doug and Maggie left the Foursquare.
Yeah.
And I met Doug and Maggie when they were part of the Foursquare Eastern District Conference, because we were part of that.
By
the way,
go ahead.
You might be interested in seeing this if I can get it to work. Okay. Now watch. The hook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And if I do this, put your nose in there, Mickey.
Nah, I know how much crushing power those have.
This one has about a little over 25 pounds.
So, like I said, like I've told everybody, I've met you through I've been to a couple of your shows, and they were very inspirational. And after your show, you would come out to the merchandise area and sign for everybody, sign autographs and sign merchandise for people, which I was expecting everything to be, when I first met you, I expected everything to be pre-signed. And I didn't realize that you actually signed right then and there.
Yeah, I don't pre-sign anything. If people are going to pay money for merchandise, whether it's a CD, by the way, we still do sell CDs, or whether it's my book, or a DVD, I want them to feel like they've got my personal attention. So I sign it right there, and I sign it to them, put their name on it, and then sign it a masterpiece in progress, Jeff Steinberg, with my favorite verse, which, by the way, is Psalm 139:14. I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
I really appreciate you being able to come on at the last minute. I was hoping that I've been wanting to get you on, but I didn't know how your schedule was unfolding.
Well, it just happened that because tonight's Friday and my wife had a little bit of work to do, and I'm only about 5 minutes from home, I figured I could park here. We could talk, You might want to see if you can find that video of Masterpiece, and play it for your audience. If I'm sure your engineer can figure out how to do it, and let them see, let them see it and enjoy the song, because I think that would really be an encouragement to people. You'd be surprised the number of Uber riders and rideshare riders that I get. I had a lady today who was a first responder, or she was actually former military, and I was taking her to a VA hospital for clinic before she goes to work. And I thanked her for her service. I told her a little bit about my story. And then I played for her the CD version of the song This Land, and a song called It's a Long Way Up When You're Coming From Nowhere. And she said to me, as we were pulling into the VA complex, she said, you don't know how much this has meant to me. You know, I don't usually cry for patriotic songs. And she said, luckily I didn't cry today because I have to go to work. But she said, you really encouraged me and I needed to hear that, you know. I have a song called It's a Long Way Up When You're Coming From Nowhere that was actually written by Barry Manilow. And
As a small business owner, time management is key. So today I'm using Adobe Express to come up with a new fall banner. There's an unbelievable amount of templates, and it's
look like it should.
There it is.
Yes. I was listening to it earlier.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So anyway, but
Hang on a second. Sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. Anyway, so you know, I get to be an encouragement to people, even in my car. You know, and for those who are wondering, I drive. Somebody asked me. They said, "How do you drive?" I said, "Fast." And now it's faster. But I drive a 2016 Lincoln MKZ, and you know, be praying for us. We have a GoFundMe on Facebook right now because I'm looking at having to replace the engine in my car. It's being held together with Blue Devil engine block sealant, but we're going to have to replace it real soon, and we're having some transmission issues as well. So we're kind of trying to raise a little bit of money to take care of this and to help us with some downtime, because we're gonna have a couple of days where I'm not going to be able to drive. But you know, I never let things like that stop me. You know, I believe that God uses his people to meet the needs of his people. And so we've never refused an opportunity to perform or to speak or sing on the basis of money. It's always been there whenever we needed it, you know. So I really appreciate you having me, Mick. I really didn't expect to be doing this tonight. Sometimes, you know, spontaneity of the moment, you know, you just do what you got to do.
Well, Jeff, if you hang on, I'm gonna run that video real quick for everybody so they get to hear it, and then I'll come right back to you.
Okay.
On a blank piece of canvas, it doesn't always look very good. You're wondering what it's gonna be like when it's done, if it's ever gonna look like it should. When the colors start blending, the shapes begin forming, you begin to see the master design. When the last stroke is painted and the brush is laid down, it's exactly what he had in mind. In progress, Jesus is working on me. I may not look like it yet, but you better bet I'm becoming what he wants me to be. I'm a masterpiece in progress. It won't be too long till I'm done. A few more strokes of the brush and the master's touch, and I'll be in the image of the sun. You see a half-finished picture, just pieces of what I'm gonna be. 'Cause Christ is still working real hard in my life, painting things that only he can see. Sometimes the colors are bright ones, sometimes they're dark ones, but they're all a part of what he has planned. He'll complete what he started in his own perfect time if I submit to the brush in his hand. In progress, is working on me. I may not look like it yet, but you better bet I'm becoming what he wants me to be. I'm a masterpiece in progress, and it won't be too long till I'm done. More strokes of the brush and the master's touch, and I'll be in the image of the sun. I'm a masterpiece in progress. Jesus is working on me. I may not look like it yet, but you better bet I'm becoming what he wants me to be. I'm a masterpiece in progress. Now it won't be too long till I'm done. A few more strokes of the brush and the master's touch, and I'll be in the image of the sun.
So that was your song.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure that we got played. So I love that song, actually. That was one of the best songs that I heard in the concerts. And there was a lot of other ones that I have to admit I don't remember a lot because, like I said, I had a stroke in 2019. But I do remember that song because it's like it dug real deep.
Well, I appreciate it, Mick. I really do. I thank you for having me on. I thank you for staying in touch with me. I know we're Facebook friends because we keep poking each other.
When I was able to get you on Facebook, I was happy because at least I wanted to keep track of you and make sure that you were doing good. And I do get to see when you post. I saw the picture that you posted with your grandkids and a few other really nice ones.
Yeah, we have a great family, and God's been good to us. We have 4 children. We have three boys and a girl, and the 3 boys live in North Carolina, and our daughter lives in Mississippi, North Mississippi, and then we have 10 grandchildren, and one of our grandchildren gave us our first great grandchild, so we have a great granddaughter.
I can tell your pocketbook.
So
I can tell your pocketbook
really
screams
cool.
during Christmas time.
Yeah, well, it cries a lot. What can I say?
I know how it feels. I have 8 grandkids, 5 girls and 3 boys.
Well, I told my wife, I said we should have done the grandkid thing first.
Should have
It's a
done the
whole lot
what?
easier. Grandkid thing first. Yeah, it's easier because then you just give the kid back.
Fill them up on sugar and give them back.
Yep. Wire them up and then send them home.
So I'm going to ask this question: does some of your family travel with you, or have they
No,
traveled
not
with
really.
you?
My wife used to travel with me, but she's had some physical issues that made it impossible for her to travel. With me on a regular basis. She'll go with me once in a while to an event or something, but only if we fly. It's just too far for her to go, unless it's local.
And you're down in the Florida area, correct?
Yeah, we live in Orlando. But we'll fly anywhere. And I travel with a gentleman by the name of Carl, and he's my assistant and my sound man and my tech. I'm actually looking for someone who wants to do some traveling, who is familiar with tech and would like to be an assistant. If anybody knows somebody like that doesn't require a lot of money right now, we're actually looking to do, there's a possibility I'm doing some interviews to talk to someone about the possibility of doing some school assemblies and, you know, college type events, and university type events and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Well, if you ever get back up towards New York and the Buffalo area, let me know and I'll pop in and I'll drop in with my camera because I do photography.
Okay, well, we do concerts. We've been doing concerts about every few years in Canandaigua.
Oh, I can make it to Canandaigua. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
come
if
out.
I'd known that,
I'll come
if
out.
I'd known that, you could have come out last year because Jeff was with me. We did a short concert tour together to celebrate my 50 years.
I'll come out. I'll bring my camera. I'll take pictures and then I'll put them all together and I'll send them to you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, if I'm up that way, I'd love to get some pictures.
I went through a program with the veterans group that I belong to that gave me a Canon 5D Mark III camera, digital camera, which technically brought brand new body and lens was over $5,000.
Wow.
But
That's pretty cool.
But Canon donated them to the program, so they came down to, they said about $2,500 for them as them used, with them used.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
But
that's wonderful.
Like I said, if you come out this way, let me know and I'll definitely come out. I'll definitely make a trip out.
Okay. Well, I'll have to remember that, and I'll keep you in the loop. And you keep an eye on my Facebook page because I post wherever I'm going to be.
I'll keep an eye on it.
So I think I'm going to head home soon.
Okay.
I gotta get home, and my wife is kind of waiting for me.
Okay, I'll talk with you
dinner
later, Jeff.
Hey, it's been my pleasure, Mick, and thank you for inviting me.
You're more than welcome to come back on whenever you want. Just drop me a message and we'll set it up.
All right. You take care.
Okay, thank you,
And to all
Jeff.
of your audience, support this guy. Help him out. You know, keep him going.
Thank you, Jeff.
He'll keep inspiring you if you keep encouraging him. And remember, you're a masterpiece in progress.
Thank you.
Take care, Mick.
Goodbye. So, guys, I'm going to wrap this up for the night because it's getting close to my bedtime anyway. Everybody be safe, be strong, and see ya.